Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, I'm not going to have too many modern stories to tell you over the next few months because I'm not going to have too much personal experience that I can share with you. But I got to share with you something that happened just 3 days ago. I wanted to go back to my pond. It's still all water, and most of the places the weeds are disappearing so quickly that there's so much more of that water that I can bring my lure through. So I was pretty excited. I knew that there wouldn't be anybody else on my pond. I say my pond. It doesn't belong to me. It's all of ours. It's just I'm the only one that's still fishing it because it's so doggone cold. So I walk all the way through the woods where I get down to the spot that I go in. And I was really excited because it'd been a few days since I was able to go fishing, and I love it so much. And so I'm thinking as I get near the water's edge, boy, when I get out there, I'm going to get one on my first cast. This is always how you feel, that anxiety and that incredible anticipation you have when you begin. When you start a day's fishing, you really believe that every cast is going to get you a fish. Anyway, this was my mind as I approach the water. And I get down through the woods and I get to the spot that I usually go in. And I forgot something that I tell you I've been telling you it a lot about wading fishing and some of the dangers. And one of the dangers I've told you is you've got to let your feet be your eyes. You've got to feel your way as you walk. You don't just go barging in for a number of reasons. Well, what did I do? I got to the water's edge and I said, I'm going to get out to the edge and I'm going to cast and I'm going to get a pike or a bass on my first cast. And as I start to walk out, I forgot my number one rule. And in this area, and I've told you before, the beavers build slides. There's a beaver hut right where I start my fishing. And the beavers, what they do is they have certain paths, just like deer do in the woods. Beavers have paths through the water and then back onto the shore and up to where they start chopping wood. And so I stepped in one of the beaver, I call them beaver slides, but where they go over and over again, they wear the bottom of that water, the bottom of the pond out in a very narrow way, so that if you step in one of these slides, your foot's going to go down a foot. It's like stepping in a ditch, only you don't know it. And you're in the water, and one foot you have precariously on one side, you don't know that your other foot's going to go into this invisible depth. And that's what I did. I stepped and it was over. I lost my balance. I went in over my head. I had waders on. And you can imagine the danger. There's nobody around me. There's nobody for miles. There's nobody that knows I'm even there. All the things you don't want to happen. You want to let people know where you're going to go, whether you're on a hike, whether you're hunting, or whether you go fishing like this. Because if anything does happen, they got to know where to look for you. Well, here I am out in the water now that's getting so cold I can't tell you. And I've fallen in with waders on. Now, you know the old stories, you fall in with waders, those waders fill up with water. You can't move. You can drown in a stream because the current can keep taking your head under. I didn't drown. Obviously, I'm talking to you. But I was able to get myself back up. I'm sopping wet. And this is how I start my fishing. So my thought is, okay, do I stay and tough it out? Do I stay and still fish even though I'm soaking wet and the temperature is hovering in the 40s? Or do I completely walk back through the half mile of woods and back to my car and drive all the way home? And no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tough it out like every stupid person would try to do. And I'm one of the greatest stupid ones right now. I fished for 2.5 hours, fighting off hypothermia, which of course you can't fight off if it starts to take hold. Finally, I thought, it's time to go. I haven't had a strike. I haven't seen a fish. I'm doing something wrong, and the biggest wrong I'm doing is staying out here getting colder and colder. And so that's my story. That was my last day this year that I've gone fishing. And what a way to end the year, almost on the biggest disaster of all. But at least I could tell you all about it. And hopefully, somebody will learn and think the next time they go in the water, they'll think a little bit more about all the things that happen to everybody else. They're never going to happen to me. But sometimes things happen to us. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.